What's going on, guys? You're tuned into the Justin Henry Show here, live on April 19th. We got a lot to talk about. Obviously, some great NBA playoff games. Last night, man, we had some games, and this Suns Clippers series got real intense here, and looks to be a pretty good series, man. One of the best here out the West. So, obviously, we have a lot to talk about NFL wise as well. You see, I'm draped out here in the Niner gear. And Trey Lance is yet again in trade rumors. I can't stand this. I cannot stand it at all. We have heard Trey Lance's name involved in trade rumors since Brock Purdy came on the scene and tore everything up in the West, in the NFC, last season. So Brock Purdy's out. Lance is expected to come in and take some starting, prowess over the summer. I don't know if that's even going to happen, man, because this NFL draft is next week and Trey Lance rumors are in there. So I got to get my jersey all up in there right now. Like, I got to get the use out of this jersey. Otherwise, it's going to be extinct here in a week. So we'll talk about some teams that he could potentially go to, and then also preview the matchups for tonight. My Lakers are playing against the Grizz tonight. Ja's questionable. We got a Draymond Green update as far as his suspension. So I got to bring in my main man, Matt. He got to join into the conversation and talk a little bit about what we got going on, my dude. Matt, what's popping, dude?
How are you, Justin? Nice to see you as always.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I noticed you decked out in all Chicago Cubs stuff today, bro. I can't deck out the Niner gear. You in the Chicago stuff, bro.
Cubs are 10-6. I gotta enjoy it while I can. You know what?
Anti-baseball on this shit. Anti-baseball, bro. But we had some pretty good games last night, dude. And so obviously the headliner was Suns and Clippers. And when this matchup, we talked about this on this channel. We talked about how this could have been like a Western Conference preview. Western Conference Finals preview. These two teams at the beginning of the season were two of the top teams in the West. And so we're getting a very good matchup between Kawhi Leonard, KD, Devin Booker dropped 38. Like, this is everything that we expected. And I expect this thing to go 7 and be a very, very tight series. This one in the Kings series, Matt, this is probably my second favorite series out of all the playoff matchups.
I feel like come playoff time, you want to see superstars guarding superstars, and that is exactly what we're getting with Kawhi Leonard on Durant on Kawhi. I think the start of this game just was exactly how the series is going to go. Like Russell Westbrook versus Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant gets the best of him, then Russ stuffs him. Like, it is such a fun and exciting series. The atmosphere in Phoenix seems electric.
Dude, I think crazy.
Dude, Devin Booker is just – nobody deserves to play with Kevin Durant more than Devin Booker, in my opinion. I feel like he's earned the right to play with Durant, and he is shining alongside him. You know what? I thought there was maybe a chance there. I think it was the end of the second quarter, halfway through the second, where I was like, if the Clippers go up 2-0, this gets real. Like, are we going to start talking about, this could happen? We talked about – I think I gave it like a 3. You gave it a 1 or something like that.
It was like point 1 or something.
But I was like, hold up. If they go up 2-0, and then it was like, the Suns just, they have so many options. There's so many different ways they can go. And, Paul George not playing the series is the only thing missing. That is the only thing we are missing here.
We missed out on some. That would have been it's already going to be a classic series. And we see that's pretty much the difference, I think, right now is Phoenix has a level where they can go when Devin Booker's cooking, when Kevin Durant's cooking. And we saw like Kawhi on KD is a problem, man. They are intensely guarding each other. And I didn't think we would get to see that. But Kawhi has been on KD. KD has been playing on Kawhi. The problem is when he swings it, Devin Booker has one-on-one. He just darts right to the lane. So Russ got in a little bit of foul trouble yesterday early on. That proved to be some of it. But home court, man, Clippers did what they were supposed to do. They went in, they got to win, and now we get to see this thing go to LA. This should be – I think the Phoenix Suns have the talent to match. So we're going to get – I think we're going to get some really good games. At least one of these games is going to go to like last shot or overtime. It has to. One thing I also saw there – Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook on the court, you could kind of tell there's a little bit of like chippiness between the two, right? Former teammates. We've heard KD in the past talk about Russ. We've heard Russ talk about KD in the past. And so on the court, it seems like when they go up against each other, they're like locked in on each other for the matchup, right? But we did get to see a little bit of moment of respect for them afterward, right? I think that moment we got to see after the game where they go in and they kind of quickly dap each other up lets you know at the end of the day, these guys are just humans, man. They just hoopers and they want to ball out.
No, I agree, and it's good to see. I think when we look back at like when he was with the Warriors and there was, when they played OKC and they were going at it and stuff like that, everyone's thinking to themselves like, nah, man, they're like, this is supposed to be, this is Durant and Westbrook we're talking about. I think it was after Durant's MVP speech. I think it was where he basically was like, you couldn't ask for a better teammate than Russell Westbrook, right? For them to see that and then it turned into what it was in Golden State. I obviously hope that, at the end of the day, both these guys, just have respect for each other. And it is basketball, like you said. It's an intense series, the first round of the playoffs. Like both teams they're trying to prove Kevin Durant's got a chip on his shoulder with his injuries and everything like that. And obviously Russ is, the media's up him constantly. So,
well, it looks like they're figuring it out. Like at least the Durant Booker side's kind of figuring it out. And when you have problems like that, it goes into the media and then it always explodes. It goes exponential and it's like way bigger of a problem than it needs to be.
Yeah.
And with Westbrook and Durant, it's like they figured it out. Obviously, they are past it. We got to be past it as the media. And now we got to move on. And so this is a really good series. At least they're showing respect to each other because we had the series, we talked about the Kings and Warriors, and it feels like those guys, Draymond is not respecting anybody on the Warriors. And you know what? The league announced it yesterday. Draymond Green will be suspended for Game 3. And I think this is the right move. Yeah. Like, I like Draymond. I like Draymond as a player, but that's where it stops. I think Draymond as the person, I'm kind of losing respect for. And, to see him suspended, hopefully this gets him right for this playoff series. Because honestly, there's a strong chance, Matt, that the Kings go into Golden State and win 3-0, up 3-0 in the series, or they come out of Golden State up 3-1. This could be one of those defining L's for this franchise, man, because Draymond may not be on this team next year.
And I think with another player, you give them the benefit of the doubt, but I just can't, you look at Draymond's history and you think to yourself, like, I can't give him the benefit of the doubt. And when this series started, I thought to myself, okay, Golden State, they have all the experience. They have all these guys with rings. I didn't think there was any way the Kings are going to win this. And I'm now looking at it and I see a Kings team that, in my opinion, I wouldn't be surprised if they went into Golden State and won a game. Like, I really wouldn't at this point.
Yeah, I think they will, especially Game 3. Like, we're talking about no Draymond Green, who is for everything that he's a triple single or whatever it is, for everything that he does with that, there's also the defense. There is kind of that physicality that he brings to the table. And then there's also the facilitator. So with everything that everybody wants to talk about, triple single Draymond, he does bring a lot of energy and a lot of resourcefulness to this Golden State Warriors team. And if they're missing that in Game 3, I don't care what the energy is like in the Chase Center. They could lose this game. Like, the Kings are a good basketball team. And, De'Aaron Fox, we've seen how clutch he's been over this series. Just won. Shout out to De'Aaron Fox. Congratulations. Just won the very first ever most clutch player. I forget the actual name of it is. I think it's most clutch player or clutchest player, whatever it is. He won the award. So shout out to him. But this team has the pieces. The Kings team has the pieces to go in there and get a win. Like, I could see this going a number of different ways. My gut says that the Warriors are going to get both the wins at home.
It's funny because I actually saw a tweet from like an NBA executive that said in this upcoming offseason, Draymond would be like the Lakers' dream. Like, that would be their dream, like signing. Like, that'd be the dream guy to get. And obviously you're a Lakers fan. And as you said, Draymond's, it seems right now he's got one foot in basketball, another foot on like the podcasting, announcing stuff. But there's no denying that when he's off the court, this is a different Warriors team. Like, he does so much for the squad.
Yeah, and they're going to have to go a different direction. Like, as this team continues to grow, the Warriors team, and they transition on from like the Splash Brothers era, the team has to go into a different direction. I think Draymond is probably going to be the first piece out. It wouldn't surprise me to see like a transition from Clay too. Like, they got some talented young guys. Kuminga, Moody, Jordan Poole obviously got a contract with them. Andrew Wiggins has played a big role, especially coming back in these playoffs. So we'll see how it goes, man. But we'll talk about that series tomorrow. That game is not on the agenda. Tonight we have 3 different games: Lakers, Grizzlies, Heat, Bucks, and Nuggets, Timberwolves. We don't really have to go into a whole lot about the Celtics game last night, and
Dude.
the Cavs did handle business against the Knicks.
That
So
second quarter, they took over. That was the defining. That second quarter, they just turned it up a notch, and they never. Garland played unbelievable
that was
last night.
the Garland we were expecting
Yeah,
this entire
exactly.
season.
Yep.
He looked like the Garland we've known, and like, all right, when he plays the right way, that's what goes. Do you think the Cavs have a chance in this series, or do you think it's going to be like a back and forth series? Like, give me your gauge on this, because Julius Randle also got injured late in that game. I don't know what his status is for game 3.
Yeah, and he missed a bunch of time. Here's my thing. I was concerned after the first game because Donovan Mitchell put up 38 and they still lost. But I saw a Donovan Mitchell that took a step back, and instead of being like, I have to take over here, I'm going to let some of these other guys, I'm going to play the facilitator role. And he did a fantastic job of that. LeVert was hitting shots. Obviously, Garland, he did. I was so impressed with him because I didn't think that was something that he was capable of. We'll see what happens.
You hit that shit right on the head, bro. Like, getting that version of Donovan Mitchell is necessary, where you're like, hey, I don't have to score 50 points, 38 points, 40 points in a game in order for us to get the win. I just have to be efficient as a scorer and then let our other key pieces do what it's supposed to. This is a defensive team. The Cavs are a defensive team. And so, taking Donovan Mitchell up for 50 points, it's nice, but then everybody else might get complacent. We've seen Karis LeVert play very well in the playoffs. You mentioned it. Darius Garland has played well in the playoffs. Evan Mobley is a younger piece that is going to elevate his game. Jarrett Allen is another piece. Like, this team is full of young talent. You hit that shit right on the head, man. I love that point, bro. Speaking of letting other players make plays, Ja Morant is going to be out for the Grizzlies. Well, we don't know if he's officially out. He's looking kind of questionable. He's had a little bit of time to rest, but the Lakers play the Grizzlies tonight. And so this Memphis team, we've seen the other guys step up all season long when Ja's been out. Over the course of the last couple of years, when he's gone out, the team has actually not dropped its level of play. So we've seen, Dylan Brooks out there talking, doing the new dance that he has going on, right? This is a make or break game for this Grizzlies team in their entire season. So I expect the Grizzlies to get their best effort tonight, the Lakers to get the Grizzlies' best effort, but the Lakers are supposed to win this game, Matt.
Yeah, I think when I look at this Grizzlies team right now, they need Ja Morant to play. You can't go down 2-0 heading back to LA. I like LA tonight. I do. I think the Grizzlies are going to give them a really, really good effort. But the Lakers are clicking on all cylinders right now.
They are.
And I think Anthony Davis is going to have another huge performance. I expect them to go up 2-0 and head back to LA.
2-0, you know what? Sweet music in my ears. I love it, bro. Like, I think this is going to be a very tight game because the Grizzlies know that they have to win this game. Kind of like that Cavs energy that they gave the Knicks, like they're in the Suns too. It's like you sense that sense of like 0-2 stings, and you at some point in the game, the urgency level kicks up for both teams. So I think for sure the Lakers win this game, but I think it's a tightly contested game. Now, with Ja questionable, that does change things. I think he's going to try to give it a go. Yeah. Like, to me, it seems like Ja has dealt with so much this year. Like, getting into this game means a lot. I think he would try to give it a go, but obviously we'll know about that closer to game time. Do you think this team can have it? Like, if Ja plays, do you think they have a better chance of winning or not?
I just have no idea where Ja's at in terms of his health. I think, it's the playoffs, so everyone's going to try to get out there and play, but we'll see how efficient he can be. And, this kind of transitions me to the same question, like, where's Giannis's status as well? Another team, like, if you're Giannis, you're thinking to yourself, like, man, we got to win this game. You don't want to go down 2-0 heading to Miami.
Yeah, Giannis is doubtful for this game. And it seems like, we've seen Giannis doubtful before, though. I think he was doubtful for game 7 in the finals. Yeah, he still played through that knee injury he had. So Giannis is a tough guy. And I think the Bucks can win without Giannis against the Heat team. The Heat, obviously, without Tyler Hero for 4 to 6 weeks. So they're a little bit deficient as well, talent-wise. But with Giannis out, we've seen Chris Middleton play really well. Jrue Holiday, I want to say this. Jrue Holiday is probably the most underrated superstar in the league. Yeah. He recently just got voted the best defender and most underrated player by other NBA players in the league. They did like this league-wide poll. Jrue Holiday, for what he brings defensively and his ability offensively, like, he does not get the respect that he deserves as a player.
Yeah, it's so funny because they won an NBA Finals. Like, if you listen to other NBA players talk about Jrue Holiday, Like there is a level of respect there.
Yeah.
And it's so funny. Like the media just doesn't seem to really talk about it. He doesn't get the flowers that he deserves.
Like there's a lot of good defenders in the league, and he was voted the best. And so I think when we look at this team, it's easy to be like, okay, Giannis is out. He's a former MVP, probably the best player talent-wise in the league. You can't win this game without him. But with the pieces that the Bucks have and the team that they built around Giannis, there's a lot of pieces. You know, Brook Lopez has played at defensive player of the year level at times this year. Grayson Allen, we've seen him step up and hit big shots. They went and got Jay Crowder for moments like this when they were missing some players. So I think I kind of like the Bucks tonight. I think that there's a little bit of a gap, and people are probably assuming that the Heat win. Bucks at home, even without Giannis, I think they get the win. All right, Nuggets, Timberwolves, and
Did you see the thing where like Cat was like, oh, they knew our plays and stuff like that? Like,
oh my gosh, bro. Like this series, this seems like sweep territory, bro.
Yeah.
Like maybe they get one in Minnesota. I thought coming in, like the talent wise, I thought Minnesota would be better. Like with Conley and Gobert. They can't guard the Nuggets, they can't stop them. And offensively, I don't think they have enough to keep up with the Nuggets either.
No, after watching game one, and like Jokic didn't even, I think he fouled out in the fourth quarter, so he wasn't even playing there. Like it just seemed like we were watching two totally different levels of teams. And I mean, you're in Denver. Do I think Minnesota's going to win tonight? Absolutely not. I think they maybe have a shot at like a game 3 or a game 4, but
yeah,
I see them winning by 10 plus points tonight.
You know what's crazy about the Nuggets too is, you know, we go through this entire 82 game season and we see teams play. We can see their peaks. We can kind of see their valleys. And we see when teams look really good, we're like, they're the best team in the league. The Celtics early on, best team in the league. Bucks, best team in the league. When the Mavs got hot, they have a chance to go to the Western Conference Finals again. And we saw the Nuggets all season long kind of just coasting. They were just coasting. And then they got to a point where Jokic shot out a few games. They're the number 1 seed in the West. And myself personally, I know I haven't given them enough credit, right? Like the Nuggets do have the ability to be like the best team in the West. And I think we just kind of gave it to some of these other teams for the simple fact that they have the superstars, they have the name power. And now we're seeing the Nuggets kind of perform like the number 1 seed that they earned.
Yeah, and I wonder how much of that has to do with the fact that like some of these other teams have players that have been to the finals and or they have rings, right? Like I feel like we kind of expected Denver to get in there and be in the playoffs and then eventually lose, right?
Right.
Like I don't think any of us went into it being like, okay, Denver, you know, is not going to make the playoffs. Like I fully expected Denver to be there. I didn't think they were going to be this good. I didn't think they were going to end up with the number 1 seed.
Yeah.
But the more I watch this team, I think to myself, like, hey, this is a team that could win, you know, the Western Conference. They really could.
It's tough because I still can't. I mean, Jokic is MVP runner-up probably. But like I still think that there's better names. Like I still can't get on board with it. Like I don't know why.
Yeah.
And we've seen Jokic perform well in the playoffs. We've seen this Nuggets team perform well in the playoffs. I just can't get behind it for some reason. I'm like, I'm kind of stuck on the fact that like I think that there's better teams than like the Clippers, the Suns, the Lakers. They just look better. Even like the Kings, I think will give the Nuggets a run for their money. So I don't know. Let me. We got to come back to that at the end of this series, bro. Yeah,
we'll take a note on that.
We got to come back to it, bro. I'm gonna make a note. You know, I've actually been having ChatGPT make me notes, bro. I don't know if are you in the AI game? Because there's some crazy stuff that AI. I've been testing around with it, bro. Like ChatGPT, I've heard like the AI Drake songs. Like so, basically,
I've heard that stuff on TikTok where they take like another artist and yes. I've heard that.
It's AI's been crazy, and so like the AI Drake, basically what it did was it made this viral song over the course of a weekend. It was just a snippet, and then they made it into like a real song written by some ghostwriter. And I'm just thinking, like at some point, these NBA teams need to do this, and the NFL teams. The pro sports needs to do this with their players in pros game. Just like script out something for these guys and be like, look, AI voice, we got AI LeBron, just say the right thing. Don't say nothing dumb. Don't get a fine and move on. Like this AI has been going crazy, bro.
The future.
What I want, one thing that's been bothering me is this Trey Lance stuff from the offseason, bro. And his name recently came up in trade rumors. The Niners, obviously, John Lynch came out a few weeks ago and said Brock Purdy would be our starter today. He's earned that. So now there's Trey Lance rumors. And as I sit here, decked out in Trey Lance merch. I think that there's some legitimacy behind these trade rumors this year, Matt. And, the draft is coming up in a week. There's talks about him being traded. You think it's time to give up on Trey Lance already, bro? Because I'm not in that. I don't think that.
No, I mean, I think Trey Lance was always a project. Like, I think the Niners drafted him knowing he was going to be something like that. And for the idea of him never really actually getting a chance out there and then them just like giving up on him, unless there's something going on behind the scenes that we have no idea about, it just doesn't make any sense to me.
This move makes no sense. You can invest in Brock Purdy. I get it. And if you just want to give him the keys, but why would you even consider going with the Trey Lance trade, right? According to the rumors, the team's not interested in really, they're listening, but not really like pursuing any deal or taking anything serious. But why is the 49ers, when you have Brock Purdy in a bionic arm, not just a regular, like he's coming off of a Tommy John surgery on his elbow. So why wouldn't you have one of the best injury clauses that you have right now in Trey Lance, who's at first round pick money? It's not like he has this extensive contract. You have him under team friendly contract for the next few seasons, 5th-year option if needed. Why would you go give that away? Like, why would you give that control away for what are you going to get back? A couple second round picks? Maybe a first if you're lucky.
That's what I was saying. What would you even get? Like, what do you think a team would have to give up?
I think you could acquire. I think the conversation, if I'm a team, like, let's think about a team that needs them. Maybe I'm like Houston or Tennessee or Tampa, right? And I'm like, hey, I just want to go get Trey Lance. I want to get a young quarterback. What are you giving? I'm giving up 2 seconds max. Like, the Niners already don't want to have him as a long-term answer unless he proves something this offseason. So before the draft, I can go get Anthony Richardson, Bryce Young, CJ Stroud, trade up for one of those guys if I really want it. I'm going to give up what? A second-round pick? 2 seconds? Why would the Niners do that?
Makes no sense to me. It really doesn't make any sense.
Out of those teams, like, I was kind of thinking, like, out of, the teams just popping up in my head, like I said, Houston kind of came to mind if they decided to not go quarterback. They got DeMeco Ryans there now, who's familiar, similar offense. Tennessee Titans run kind of that read option, would be a sneaky fit there for Trey Lance. Tampa Bay has Baker Mayfield right now. Obviously, they're in need of a quarterback. I'm not going to lie, I kind of think Tennessee would be a dope spot for Trey Lance. Like, I want him to be on the Niners next year, right? Want him to be on the Niners. But I think in Tennessee, he gets to go to a weaker AFC South. He gets to kind of build a little relationship with Treylon Burks. There's already Pickens and Pickett in Pittsburgh. They can have Trey and Treylon there in Tennessee. But there's framework there. Derrick Henry's still there. They have a solid run game, solid defense, very well coached team by Mike Vrabel. I think Tennessee, I hate to say it, but I think Tennessee would be a good spot for Trey Lance.
That would be wild. I even saw like a team, I think it was Minnesota that came up at one point. Like a team like Minnesota, I was like, huh.
Like future-proofing themselves?
Yeah. Like, are they, like, what is their long-term goal there? Now, I could see, Tennessee seems like a great option because Trey Lance would already be put in a position to succeed. But if I'm the 49ers, I'm not doing this. Hell no.
No.
Absolutely not.
I think you see how Brock Purdy's recovery is going. You give Trey Lance this offseason. If you see something this offseason, you're just like, nah, this ain't going to work. Then you move him, right? You make Brock Purdy your starter, you move him, you take the L. But it's like they're talking about a competition between Trey Lance and Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold, who couldn't take the Jets job. He couldn't take the Carolina Panthers job. How the hell is he going to take this Niners job and do anything? Like, I would take the unknown and everything that comes with Trey Lance a million times over before I go with Sam Darnold, who I don't know if I'd let him start a preseason game. Like, Sam Darnold is an afterthought. Sam Darnold's out the league in like 2-3 years. Let's be real. Let's be real, man. I could keep going on Trey Lance, bro, but I don't want to. I don't want to keep harping on it. What about Joe Mixon, though, man? Because Joe Mixon, another player who might be sent away this offseason. They're talking about either Joe Mixon needs to take a pay cut or he's going to get cut, right? Like, those are kind of the only options right now for Joe Mixon. Obviously, he had some stuff he was dealing with off the field and rumors and things going around, allegations when it comes to him. But now there's a decision that Joe Mixon has to make. Take a pay cut, stick with the Bengals, or get cut and find a new team. If I'm Joe Mixon, I'm exploring all opportunities because I care about my money, right? And I'm still in my prime. But I know that being on this Bengals team allows you to have a Super Bowl. You have a defined role. If I'm Joe Mixon, though, I'm probably going bag heavy more so than like team friendly.
I feel like if you're a running back, you got to try to chase that bag at least like right now in your career. Like I feel like the fact that in the NFL these days, teams are realizing that you can go out and just draft a running back in like the second or third or fourth round and plug him right in. Like it just seems like, I don't know, Joe Mixon, he's in a great spot with Cincinnati though. You got Joe Burrow as your quarterback. Every year it seems like you're going to, the conference championship. And I look at the whole like off the field stuff and I wonder like where his head's at. And I feel like he's going to go chase that money.
Yeah. If I'm him, I chase the money. I chase the role. I chase like the little bit of certainty. But you talked about it, bro. Like running backs are just not valued anymore. We saw Zeke get cut. We saw Leonard Fournette. Both of these guys were like first round draft picks, high draft capital, first round draft picks. Yeah. And the teams just don't value the running back position at all anymore. So they'll go get a guy in the third round, run him into the ground, get a new guy, or draft one of the more talented guys like Bijan Robinson. Is probably going to go first round. He'll get used up for 5 years and then have to take some kind of, back end deal at the end of his career. And we see this all the time, and it's starting to bother me. Like a guy like Najee Harris is probably never going to see big money because he came out at the age of 23. So by the time he's 28 years old, they first round tendered him, 5th-year option. He doesn't get the bag. Like the running back position is probably the most underpaid position in all of sports, all professional sports.
Yeah, I even think back to like, Todd Gurley got that huge deal, right? And then it was like, now you're like, Todd Gurley's not even in the league. Like, where is Todd Gurley? Like, it's crazy. Like these running backs, like you see it, like their shelf life is so short. And I agree. If I'm a running back, I'm going to chase that bag for as long as I possibly can, because at the end of the day, teams are always going to do what's best for them. And they've realized real fast that, these running backs apparently just don't have the value that any other position does in terms of after they have their few years. I mean, if you look at Zeke, when Zeke first came to the league, I mean, Zeke was a totally different player. I don't know what the hell happened to Zeke. I
don't think he's bad. It's just when you got a guy like Tony Pollard coming in there going 90 miles an hour, it looks a little bit different, right? Zeke looks hella slow now. But Zeke's so not slow. Like Zeke's short yardage, pass protection. Like we know he can get 2 yards. Yeah. We know he can pass protect. What team can't use that? And it's funny, he has no market. Like Joe Mixon, if he gets cut, what kind of market is he going to? He's going to have to go to the Bills or the Chiefs and take like a back end type deal. There's really no market for any of these older backs. It's insane.
Justin, I do have to run though, which I apologize about. I am so excited.
You can't go, bro. I'm keeping you here, dog.
I am so excited for the games tonight. I just want to quickly I think the Lakers are going to win.
Okay.
I think the Nuggets are going to win. And I am blanking on the third game, so please remind me of the third game.
Third game's Heat Bucks.
And I think the Bucks are going to win. So
I'm on Lakers, I'm on Bucks, and I'm on the Nuggets. Nuggets is the easiest one.
Yeah, knowing my luck, the freaking like Bucks are going to lose. I'm going to come on here tomorrow and just cut out everything that I just said. But
I'm sure we'll get your reaction on the Champions Round page of one of those games, man. Appreciate you stopping in, dog.
Thank you for having me. Take it easy. Bye, guys.
Always. Yes, sir. So as we continue to move on, man, a couple other topics here. DeAndre Hopkins has now been in trade rumors for a while, but there's 2 teams that players are talking about right now. Pac-Man Jones of all people has inside scoop on where DeAndre Hopkins is headed, right? The Baltimore Ravens, even after they signed OBJ, they're expecting to get Rashad Bateman back. The Ravens are still in on DeAndre Hopkins, which is wild. Like they just went and acquired, they spent $18 million on OBJ. They still got to pay Lamar Jackson. DeAndre Hopkins is still in play, according to Pac-Man Jones. To me, this is interesting, man, because it shows that the Ravens are trying to get weapons. We've heard John Harbaugh even come out and say in the NFL draft, they're going to be going receiver. So this lets me know, like, they're trying to stack these weapons up for Lamar or for another quarterback. I think it's got to be Lamar. They got to know something's getting done, at least here with this franchise tag. They know he's part of the team, but I don't think he's getting traded. I think he's going to be their quarterback. It seems like they're trying to set him up for success, though. So this aerial attack for the Baltimore Ravens could get a bump with DeAndre Hopkins, or if you don't want to listen to Pac-Man Jones, you can listen to Von Miller. Von Miller says that D-Hop wants to play for the Bills. And, we talked about it yesterday, that the little clip that came out of DeAndre Hopkins kind of using his body language to determine where he wanted to go. And the Bills were a team that he opened his eyes for. He had a lot of interest. So Josh Allen getting D-Hop and Stephon Diggs, it could be a major move for the Bills. And they need the weapons. Like, the Bills are a team that we don't talk about them as like kind of struggling during the playoffs, falling off, not really being a true threat like the Chiefs and the Bengals. Even the Ravens have a little bit more sticking power, it seems, than the Bills do. So Josh Allen, maybe he needs another weapon. Maybe he needs a D-Hop. It's kind of I got to dive a little bit deeper into that, man, because this Bills team has been disappointing considering the expectations. Breaking news just came out. Breaking news. Tua Tagovailoa was considering retirement recently. And so he's been, he sat down with his family, had some conversations. But those concussions that he suffered last year, the ones we kind of saw him throwing up some signs, man, it was not good. And for me, I was one of the guys that was like, hey, get right, take whatever time you need, consider like all aspects, right? You have to consider everything, every avenue, including not playing the game of football. I was an advocate for like rest Tua, don't play him. I know he came back and he had that game where he came back, was playing well first half, got another concussion and struggled in the second half, right? Well, he's put on some more muscle. So he's put on some more muscle. His frame looks good. There were some clips going around to him this morning on social media. He looks a lot stronger, but he also determined that he will play this year. So retirement was in consideration, and my producer Nick in the background said Tua's going the Andrew Luck route. So hopefully not, because I want to see Tua play, man. When he played for the first 6 games of the season before he suffered that second concussion, he looked like one of the best quarterbacks in the AFC, and that Miami Dolphins team looked like they were going to be a problem, like potential Super Bowl type team. And the Miami Dolphins have invested in the defense. They went out and got Jalen Ramsey. I'm assuming they're going to make a splash here in the draft. But they have all the weapons. The coaching staff is great. The team looks great. They went and got Bradley Chubb at the deadline next year. Vic Fangio is the new defensive coordinator. So there's a lot that can be said about this Miami Dolphins team if Tua is at the helm and fully healthy. New quarterback helmets are out. Like, hopefully Tua can stick it out, because I think the league is better when Tua is on the field. The Miami Dolphins obviously are, but Tua was kind of coming to in his own. Like, there was a lot of talk about him, the noodle arm. He couldn't throw, and he was starting to prove everybody wrong last year and prove why he was a high draft pick in the NFL draft. So I like Tua. I think he should be on the field next year. So I'm glad he's not retiring, but take care of your head, man. At the end of the day, that's the most important thing, man. Your body. I always talk about, with my kids, taking care of your body and your mental is more important than anything, right? You can chase the money, and I know he's doing something he loves to get the money, but at the end of the day, you got to go home to your family, you got to go home to your wife, to your kids, and that's more important, man. Like, you can find another career, and Tua has the name power now. He can go find a new business venture. He can find new ways to make money, but you can't always take care of what's in here. So that's my like heartfelt moment of the day. Like, just take care of yourself, Tua. Take care of yourself, man. Another player who has kind of been injured over the last few years, not kind of, has been injured, Michael Thomas. There's been some videos of him deadlifting 500 pounds. Like, we've seen that toe. We know he's been dealing with the toe injuries. So is he right? Or is this just off-season smoke? My guess is that Mike Thomas coming back for redemption. He restructured his deal. So there was a point where he was owed $45 million or something crazy this season. It was a ridiculous number. He restructured his deal and is back now with Derek Carr at the helm. I think we can see a Michael Thomas redemption arc. One of the best receivers in the league a couple of years ago now hasn't been able to see the field, and we're not sure what he looks like. Like, we saw a game, 2 games early in the season last year. He looked similar, but we haven't seen that elite Michael Thomas for a full season. And fantasy-wise, you want to see that as your WR2 or WR3. There's an element of, hey, we got to see Michael Thomas on the field, not just lifting weights, 500 pounds, deadlifting. We need to see him catching some balls, hitting some slants. Like Michael Thomas still has it. I'm not sure he's still the main guy. Obviously, they got Chris Olave there now for the Saints, but there's an element of Michael Thomas could be a factor next year if he stays healthy. So deadlifting 500 pounds and then getting drug tested right after is probably not a good start, but we got to see him on the field. Also, some quick breaking news. Giannis Antetokounmpo. I'm terrible at saying his last name. Antetokounmpo. I think I said it right, though. He's been upgraded to questionable. He was doubtful to play today. He is now questionable to come in. Champions round was good. Shout out to Champions round in the building. He said looks good in the gym. What does that mean? He looks good in the gym. He looks good on the field too when he plays. Like, that's not the kind of I want to see some Champions round love for Michael Thomas. No hate in the comments. No hate in the comments. Shout out to Champions round. Was good. I'm gonna bring my guy Nick Durst on for one last segment, man. We're going to talk about Clayton Kershaw here, my producer in the background. Carter was good. He said, Giannis must play. Giannis must play. He's questionable. It's better than doubtful, right? I talked about this when Matt was on the show. He played in that game 7 when he was doubtful. Giannis is like, he has the super serum, the Winter Soldier super serum. That's what he has, man. So, yes, he's doubtful and always plays. They call him the Greek Freak for a reason. Nick, my dude, what's good, bro? I gotta, we've been talking hoop football this entire time, bro. I gotta get in some baseball talk with you, bro.
Must be big news if you're talking baseball.
I never talk baseball on this show, bro. But I want to get your opinion on Clayton Kershaw. I'm a huge Clayton Kershaw guy. I love Clayton Kershaw. Fantasy baseball, I drafted him every single year. Yeah, like he was the guy I always had on my team. I didn't care about the playoff struggles, because I'm a Giants fan, so it worked. I won in fantasy.
Madison Bumgarner, that's your guy.
Team won in the playoffs. 200 wins? 200 wins. That's a storied career for Clayton Kershaw. Where do you got him all time? All time, dog.
Well,
I think he's the best.
Justin, you're saying you don't care about the postseason, but if we're talking all time, you got to consider the postseason. This guy has 12 losses in the postseason, which is a record 4.22 ERA. And he's cost the team a lot of games in the playoffs. So all time, maybe I'll put him like 15 range.
15 for Clayton Kershaw.
Yeah.
200 wins. I don't know what the win. Nolan Ryan has the record, right? He has to have the record. I think it's like 300 or 400 wins or something ridiculous, because he pitched every damn
200 game. Is going to be like the new, benchmark here, because nobody pitches that many games anymore. Kershaw, I think, is third active. I think Verlander and Scherzer are ahead of him. Wainwright's 125, but the all-time leader, Justin, is Cy Young. They named the award.
Cy Young. That's how many games is it? 511. Yeah, nobody's catching that record. That's like the old Kareem, where everybody thought nobody could catch Kareem. That's legit a record that nobody's getting. 500 wins.
Yeah, no one's even going to get 200 again after Adam Wainwright on the Cardinals.
But Kershaw, like with his success, his dominance during the regular season, 15. So you got like Sandy Koufax, all these other guys ahead of him. Nah. I'm putting Kershaw in my top 5, baby. Kershaw's in my top 5.
My top 5 definitely got Nolan Ryan. I'll go Tom Seaver. It's tough to like leave out these guys, but we never saw them play. Like, we didn't see Cy Young, so who knows? Walter Johnson, Grover Alexander Young. Too, right? You don't really know. You never seen these guys. Koufax was great. There's a lot of great pitchers all time here. Just if you're looking at wins specifically, Randy Johnson, he was awesome. How about Pedro Martinez? I don't know if you saw this. I think you'd like this. Last night, TNT TBS, for the first time ever, they had hockey coverage, basketball, and baseball coverage. They did like a mini Olympics inside the studio. So it was hosted by Ernie. So they did the NBA on TNT crew versus the NHL crew versus the TBS baseball crew. Pedro Martinez shooting free throws was absolutely awful. It was the funniest thing. He couldn't make a shot.
I would have turned. I'm only interested in one sport, bro. Out of those 3, bro. Hockey, I can barely follow. Baseball's fun. I got to get baseball. I got to get baseball props, because I'll go to a game. I like watching, and I know, like I said, I play fantasy baseball, so I know the sport.
Have you been to Giants games?
I've been to Giants games, A's games, Sacramento River Cats out here, AAA baseball.
Now the Giants, are the Seagulls as bad as we see on TV? I always see the Seagulls flying in.
So I got a hilarious story about that, right? So we went to the Giants game. This is about 3 years ago. 3 years before the pandemic. And so we're driving to the game. We're all carpooling. My buddy has a car. It breaks down. So we have to take a taxi to the game, right? So this is like 4 of us in a car. Worst day for this dude. He's like pounding down beers. Brian drinks for himself because it was the shittiest day of his life. We go, and I have on like a brand new hoodie. Like I just got this hoodie from, like one of the Dick's Sporting Goods or something. Brand new Giants hoodie, brand new hat. This dude's got his beers. He's like kind of like slouching the whole game. We get to the end of the game, 9th inning's over, and as soon as the players leave the field, it's literally Seagull Fest. Oof. They come out, and I'm not kidding you, it's probably like 500 to 1,000 birds just flying over the entire stadium. I'm not lying. And guess what happens with that? They start eating the food that's out there. No kidding. It's just bird shit, just going all over the place. He got my sweater. This dude had the rest of his beer. It went in his beer. I was like, bro, your day is ruined. Your day is ruined. Like the Seagulls are literally, they take over the minute the game is over in San Francisco. They take over, bro. It's a
field. There's an animal problem in Northern California. Did you hear last week the Oakland A's? So they played the Mets. The Mets broadcast crew, they were going in. They were trying to set up in the booth to do the game. Usually they sit behind home plate. It's the best view. They got there, and they had to move elsewhere because there was a possum in the booth. And possum was going to the bathroom. It smelled so bad. And then they ended up sitting at another booth, like directly in front of a pole. And the broadcaster's like, all right, take the pole and go dodging around and deal with the possum.
These animals are taking over, bro. I'm good off these animals, bro. Like, I got to get out of the game early. I can't let the announcers. I think that might have been intentional for them, bro. Like put in the other side. You know what I'm saying? The opposing side, not the home side, man. But other than that, bro, it's been a good show, man. Hopefully we get some good clips out of this. You guys, make sure you download the Champions Round app. Use the code PLAYOFFS. It's been the NBA playoffs. We talked a lot about it earlier in the show. You guys will get your deposit matched, 100% deposit match up to a certain amount. I think it's $50, $100, somewhere in that range. Download the app. You guys make sure you subscribe, and we'll be back on tomorrow to talk NBA playoffs and a whole lot more. It's been real. It's been the Justin Henry Show. We are out. Peace.